I have cabin fever. I have been stuck in the house. It's been raining, and windy. And but now we've got a dry day, and tomorrow looks decent too. So I need to get out here and get some salad mix put together for Tyler and I. And I actually had a couple people ask me if I had like kale and some other things, and so I'm gonna get a couple people a few things from the garden. Not much going on in the expanded garden area here, kind of still waiting for soil, and that'll probably be a while. And I don't have a whole lot of things I have to do out here in the garden. I need to still plant my garlic, which I will probably do in the next couple of weeks. I was looking back and I planted the garlic at the beginning of October last year. The other big job I have is over here in the compost bins. Let me just show you. I just need to consolidate some of the material that's in there and get everything kind of cleaned up, because it kind of doubles as my tool shed. And then for reference, there's my potato patch and the raspberries. So yeah, I need to get out there and pick some things. So this is my couple beds of kale right here. I've got a little tiny bit of chard at the very end of this bed that got, cut off because I had to move the fence to make room for the garden expansion. But I did get the clover cut back underneath the kale so that the deer won't be quite so interested in trying to push through the fence. They've been just nibbling along this edge and haven't had any problems. You can kind of see through the fence here that I've been just kind of snapping the tops of the kale off rather than picking individual leaves, because at some point here the kale's just going to freeze and it won't be any good. So I'm just kind of yeah, just popping the tops off. Right next to the kale beds, I've got my big bed of carrots, 40 feet of carrots that I've been kind of picking the end right here, working this direction. And this is the bed that has the Giants of Colmar and the Merida variety carrots hidden in there somewhere. And you can see my experiment of spinach. So I've got that bed back there, first succession, second succession, and this is the third succession. And these guys have not been growing at all, hardly. And in fact, I'm growing so slowly that I've just got some, like yellow leaves on the outside. I mean, I've got some good leaves in the centers here, but then the outside leaves are kind of just dying off. So yeah, everything is, we're just getting less and less light, and everybody's decided that they're gonna grow really slow, if at all. And then you can see this bed is my bed of beets, and some of these are still really big and good. And I have just, I just kind of left them and didn't do anything. So I'll be plucking beets out of here as we go along. Then my next bed, whoa, is my baby chard bed that I cut from for my lettuce mixes all season. And look, they've got their nice little fall colors going, but they are not growing a whole lot. And then I've got my my lettuce that is going to seed. And so I've got my little lettuce trees here. And this is the second bed that I planted, and the third bed that I planted that I have been picking from. So I did 2 cuts off of this, and this week I think, I don't know, maybe I'll cut this bed or this row right here. And this is I had no room for extra little starts, and so I ended up planting a bunch of things in here. But the kale, this is dazzling blue, and then I've got some just regular Italian kale back here. And I think I'm gonna save these, maybe overwinter them so that I can get seed from them next year. Because this is kind of a nice little corner where I don't think they'll get in the way. And then I've got my green onions here. This is my last one that's been sitting in here forever. He's so old and big. But this is where the green onions were. And these are my leeks. So they're coming along all right. One volunteer potato in there. And I've plucked a couple of them. They're still awfully small, but I'm interested to see how they do through the fall. And then one thing that's been doing really good is my parsley patch. Now I had some of these Italian parsleys just rot away, but the ones that stayed are doing nicely. And this is the curly parsley, which is doing really good. So that is something that can be used in the fall. This is my little patch of mint that I moved over to this side when I had to move the fence. And I'm just afraid that it's making seed and it's gonna wanna spread seed. So I really need to cut these back. And so we don't get seed that blows away in the wind if it hasn't already. That would be awful because mint is very invasive. So let's go take a look in the greenhouses. Cucumber greenhouse, basil greenhouse. We're gonna go into the cucumber greenhouse first. Oh, it's actually warm in here. A little bit of sun. So this is the cucumber greenhouse. A week or so ago, whatever, I'm losing track, I dropped the vines and they're still producing slowly, but they're still producing some. And my poor little sunflower and calendula plants are kind of done. And then back over here, I have, still quite a bit of orach and lettuce and chard. So I'm really impressed with this chard. This was the same baby chard that I have outside in the bed that I use for lettuce mix. And I've let these grow kind of big. But these were planted all the way back in early spring, and they are still doing amazing. This is all kind of orach that I planted in different successions. And this last bit here is the lettuce that I planted a little bit ago in the greenhouse here to see how it would do. We haven't had any nice days, so I haven't watered in a long time. I guess it's still kind of moist down there. I'm a little bit worried about that, but the problem I had last year was, with mildew, and I'm seeing some of that here. And so we'll see if these guys kind of survive that. Same thing, with the orach, a lot of mildew issues, so we'll see how these guys go. This is kind of like, okay, when everything goes to flower and, bolts to seed in my lettuce beds out in the garden, will this kind of keep me going for a while here in the greenhouse? So we shall see. A couple of cucumber vines over here, and these are the ones over here, and you can see, they're still producing mini cucumbers, but they have been growing quite slowly, but they're doing all right. Again, I haven't watered in here for it seems like it's a couple weeks because we haven't had any dry days, and I don't want to have a mildew issue. But here's my little sunflower buddy. He's kind of done. And I've got some little calendula flowers, and actually I've got some calendula buds. If we would just get some nice weather, they would be happy to pop their little heads out perhaps. Anyway, that's the cucumber greenhouse. Okay, so now I am in the basil greenhouse, and I'll give you a look around here. We're in the 60s Fahrenheit inside the basil greenhouse. So this was the first bed that I planted of basil, and I am super surprised at how nice they're still looking. I was having, issues with all of this black leaf and stuff, and I thought they were just gonna rot away, especially with this weather. And I just don't know, maybe it's the sand I've got in here. I don't know what's different. You know, so yeah, I've got a lot of crud leaf, but still some decent stuff in here. And this was the Italian kale that I had planted early, again, transplanted early spring, and I've just been cutting it back, and it's been doing fine. I also had peas running up. This was later in the year. I had sugar snap peas running up these ribs of the greenhouse, and you know, I was getting some mildew, so I actually cut them back, you know. And oh, look at this little guy. He's still flowering. So I didn't like it very much because they're right along the edge where there's all this condensation. They were having a tendency to kind of mildew and stuff. So they do good in the greenhouse, but I would want to keep them away from the side. And then I had a video where I showed that I went ahead and grabbed some seed from this orach, but I've got a couple of other volunteer orach plants in here that they're going to seed, and they have already started to scatter their seed in here. So I really need to get these guys out of here, get the seed out of here. It's another little bit of seed that I'm saving. Yeah, this is the second patch of basil that I planted, and it's still doing really nice. You know, I always like to plant a second succession of basil because having kind of something new coming along, they're a lot fresher. But you can see there's some black leaf going on in here. But because they're not so tight together, it does allow some air to go through here, and you know, and so it's not too bad actually. But these guys don't usually even last this long, but they're doing pretty good. I actually dug out another basil plant. So a customer had asked me to, you know, can you get me a basil start? So I did that, and then it gave me an idea that I should go ahead and get my own. So I dug out a basil plant, and I've got it in the house under lights along with my aloe plant. So we'll see how he does. But yeah, so you know, I've got this scarlet kale that's been going all year long. Planted, you know, that in the, you know, on the north edge of this row here. And back behind the scarlet kale, I've got these volunteer chards that have been just going. They're getting hit by slugs, but they're doing nicer than the stuff outside for sure. I've been eating, like, this has given me, this scarlet kale and this Italian kale has pretty much fed me kale all summer, and I haven't really used the stuff out in the garden myself. So anyway, I got to get to picking a few things for folks, including this basil. Ooh, it's nice and big and long and tall. Ooh, it's nice and big and long and tall. Who is nice and big? Who is nice and long? Who is the tallest of you all? Do, 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 do. Oh boy. I easily got my bunch of parsley from out in the garden. Got my one bunch of basil. My 1 3-ounce bag of basil. And I got some chard, some from the garden, some big leaves from in here in the greenhouse, and some littler leaves from the other greenhouse, and managed to get a bunch together. And same thing with the kale. I got a few that I plucked off the kale from the garden, and then some of these guys from in the greenhouse. Then I grabbed some cucumbers, and this is all I got off that were big enough off the vines today. And I've got some more up at the house that I can add to do a couple bags of cucumbers. And then I've got some of Peter's garlic still left over, and so that will kind of round things out. And I got stuff for the customers today, and I still need to get my salad mix for me. I have just enough lettuce mix left from last week that I can make one more salad. I also went into the cucumber greenhouse, got some baby chard. First cutting off of the lettuce that I planted in there, and a little bit of the orach to add to the salad today too. It's always weird this time of year. I feel like, you know, I've been go, 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 and I just need to kind of chill out, and it's kind of hard to make that transition from like, you know, go, go, go to chilling out. I do need to, you know, start going to get seaweed because we've had some windy days and there's probably some seaweed. Ravens chasing each other. Chilling out, chilling out. Looking forward to fall and winter. It's gonna be groovy, folks. See you next week. I almost forgot to get carrots. I have to get carrots for salad. And the only reason I'm not selling carrots from this bed is because this year I just want to see how much Tyler and I eat. How long, a 40-foot bed of carrots will last us.